Welcome to Scarves and Spikes.
Hello to all the Atlanta United fans. My name is Jurgen Damm, and you are watching Scarves and Spike, an Atlanta United podcast.
Welcome to Scarves and Spikes. Sydney, Tyler, and Tommy with you as Atlanta United gets set to take on the Philadelphia Union on Saturday. And we have a head coaching rumor out there in the wild. Guys, how's it going?
Good. Raining as crap.
We're trying to write out potential tropical storm here in the Atlanta area. Tyler and I. Tommy, how's the weather up in your neck of the woods?
We had a little bit of we actually had a tornado warning by our house yesterday. I was out of town. I was down in Columbus, and I asked my wife, I'm like, everything okay? Oh, yeah, just a couple drizzles. Then she sends me a picture of, like, a tree that fell down in her backyard.
Little drizzle.
I knew it. I knew that there was no way that it just skipped over our neighborhood.
Right. Well, hope everything is good up your way in Ohio.
Oh, you guys have it way worse. I can't complain. I mean, I've been seeing the pictures, and I've been seeing the chaos because of the Braves, right? Because the Braves need to finish their season. So what a terrible situation. Because I think their weekend series also in Atlanta too.
I think it is. I know the Mets and Braves series got pushed back to Monday because of the weather. But yeah, if you're watching or listening in the Atlanta area, just be safe. Be cautious of all the severe weather is coming on. Especially down in Florida, like I said, here in Atlanta area, really all of Georgia. So just be careful, be vigilant, be prepared, and hope you all end up safe.
Make sure your stuff is charged.
Yeah, charging your phones.
Food.
Say it again.
Boat.
Yeah, buy a boat.
I can't swim, so I'd be in big trouble.
Yeah, you would be.
When I watch those End of the World movies, I freak out. I'm like, just let me go. Like
I'll row
Titanic,
down.
Let me go.
I-75 in a rowboat and come pick you up.
Right. But yeah, just be safe in all seriousness if you are kind of in the path of Helene over these next few days. Scarvesandspikes.com, of course. Check out all of our Atlanta United content. Check out our store. Help support the show. Patreon.com/scarvesandspikes. Help support the show there as well. Of course, you know where to find us on social. Scarves, the letter, and Spikes on X. Facebook, Scarves and Spikes. Instagram and Threads, Scarves and Spikes. We are everywhere. So everywhere you are, that's where we are. Give you the best Atlanta United content. As I mentioned, we have a coaching rumor. Well, not a rumor. I don't want to say it's a rumor, but a report from Tom Bogert that Patrick Vieira is a finalist for the Atlanta United head coaching position. And so we just start there, right? August, he said, there was a report from Fox Sports of him being interested in the job. Of course, he hasn't been in MLS since leaving NYCFC in 2017 or 2018, rather. Went to Nice, ended up at Strasbourg, Crystal Palace. Of course, has sterling credentials from his time at Arsenal, one of the best midfielders in Arsenal history and really world footballing history. But Patrick Vieira is a finalist, it sounds like. And I want to start off because Tyler, there is word on the street that you aren't fully convinced that Patrick Vieira is the right choice for Atlanta United. So I'm interested to hear why that is. But
Patrick Vieira, if you're listening, it's nothing against you personally.
Right.
Good. I'm glad you started with this, just in case. Because when you meet him at some point, he's going to be like, oh. And
You're
see,
that guy.
I didn't wear I should have wore my glasses, so then maybe he thought me and you were different people. You could have been like, no, the other guy said it in
I
Ohio.
don't know what he's talking about.
I don't think he'd confuse me with the two of you, by the way.
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm probably safe from that, but that's okay.
Yeah, but no, I guess what are your kind of reservations about possibility of Vieira potentially becoming the next head coach of Atlanta United?
So the reservations, I guess, I feel like going into this coaching search, there were names out there that probably would have fit what this club wants and identifies as more than what Patrick Vieira is going to bring. And also what this team is currently capable of doing. That being said, there will be and should be a lot of changes to the personnel between now and if Patrick Vieira is the one that takes over. There'll be a lot of changes, by the time he actually gets to that seat and can start kind of putting his stamp on the team.
Yeah.
But I just think his style of play is very similar to what the team has been trying to do over the past few years. Similar, not exactly the same, but similar. And the team hasn't been able to consistently pull it off. All that being said, I do feel like he is much more of a disciplinarian. I think he's going to be stricter in terms of man management. And he's going to have almost an entirely new roster next year. So, I mean, I'm not saying that, I don't like the guy. I'm just, I cannot go all in and say, oh, this is going to turn around the 2025 season immediately. And I think that's what fans kind of want to hear. I don't think that's going to happen. And to be fair, I don't know that you could actually bring in a coach that's going to immediately change anything, even if his name is Pep Guardiola. Right. I think the personnel just doesn't fit right now to doing anything other than playing transitional counterattacking football.
Let me ask you guys this. I mean, of course, he had David Villa with him, and David Villa scored 45 goals in 2 seasons with NYCFC, and Vieira was there. He had Frank Lampard in 2016. Came on, had a good season in 2016. Nowhere near the season that David Villa had, but a decent season. So I guess the big question is how much of his success was predicated on the play of David Villa, because let's say an alternate universe, David Villa isn't half the player that he was for NYCFC. Does NYCFC still have that success that they had? 54 points in 2016, 57 in 2017. Led MLS in away wins 2016, 2017. Just one of 3 teams with 6 or more away wins in the entire
away
league.
Wins. Sign them.
Away wins.
Get them.
Don't
listen to Tyler. We could get 2 away wins in a season. Sign them. That's all I care about. That's all I need to hear.
No, but in all seriousness, like, you have to look at what the cause of that success was, right? I mean, David Villa was an incredible player for NYCFC, but again, if you take it away from that club, are they halfway successful without him than they were with him? And I think that's a question you have to ask about every single team, right? I mean, we all know that without Messi and Suarez, Inter Miami isn't even close to the Supporters' Shield lead. Columbus, I feel like it's the best example of a manager in Wilfred Nancy that can really manage players. I mean, of course, you have Cucho, of course, you have Rossi, you have some pieces there, but I feel like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So in that sense, maybe there's some eyebrows being raised about Vieira. Can he make the whole the sum of its parts? That's my main concern about it. I know Garth Lagaway has a lot of work to do from a personnel standpoint, and hopefully whoever is the manager, whether it's Vieira or somebody else, has the personnel in place to get Atlanta to where it needs to be. But I guess that's just my kind of sticking point with Vieira, to be honest with you. That's just where I sit. I mean, where I stand personally.
I think, like, to your point, that could be said about any team. Like, Atlanta's not winning 2018 MLS Cup without Joseph Martinez. You take that one guy out, and it's a different story entirely.
Miguel Almiron too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Almiron.
Yeah.
If you have Joseph and you don't have Almiron, I don't think you do it either.
Right. That's the thing. Like, it's different, right? MLS, the roster rules are different, and that can't always go back on the coach. It's not Man City, right?
But it
it's not
does. That's how the world works.
I know it does, but that's just because it's a broken system at this point. But I do think Patrick Vieira is going to, like I said, he's going to be more disciplined in terms of bringing like a stricter kind of set of circumstances and things to the training ground. And I think that's how you're going to get more than what you have right now if all the other factors stay the same.
And I'll throw this out there too. You talk about Man City, of course. NYCFC are they part of that CFG City Football Group system? So he has that Man City background. Granted, it's before Pep, before they won everything. But still, I mean, Man City Football Group as a whole has tremendous resources at its fingertips. Atlanta United, same way with Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank has tremendous resources at his fingertips as well. And again, it goes back to what I was just saying. I think the most important part is making sure that he has the personnel in place to make this team successful. I feel like he can be flexible enough to mold his tactics into maybe what's best for the team rather than sticking to one specific style. I do see the Better Herons. What's up, guys? By the way, thanks for watching. Better Heron saying he has success in NYCFC as far as winning games, plays possession-based ball, building up from the back. I know that kind of raises eyebrows at building from the back mentality. If it works, it works. If not, it can be disastrous for your team. So I think, again, all that being said, and I say it again, it's all about the personnel. Can Atlanta United, can Garth Lagaway, can this new general manager bring the personnel in to help this team succeed? If they don't, it really doesn't matter, with the exception of a few individuals, who you bring in to manage, this team won't win.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Frank de Boer, right? I mean, he could have been fired halfway through the season if it wasn't for Joseph's huge scoring run, right? That team wasn't scoring goals. They were boring.
Yeah,
they weren't getting results, and then all of a sudden, Joseph goes on this magical run of scoring goals, and then they finally start opening things up a little bit more. And I think that was more of a team meeting, from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they discussed it, and then all of a sudden things change. Yeah, All-Star Weekend, right? And then it went full on, and then they're one of the best teams in the league again. Like, things can change with it. I don't know if I'm overly concerned about him coming in. I saw Zilf tweet something, and there's been some people that have fully expected this team to go after the biggest names in the summer that were open. That wasn't going to happen, right?
No.
I mean, the big European names, like, that just wasn't going to happen.
Still hope, though.
Yeah, you can hope, but and who
bigger
knows
doesn't always mean
if
better,
they talk to any of them, or if they even sent them the what was it Facebook, the high five or whatever it was.
That's old school.
Yeah, it's going way back.
I'm old, baby.
Kids these days don't even know.
Yeah, but I never thought it was going to get to anything like that. They're going to have to build the reputation back up too. I mean, the reputation of Atlanta United was so high early on, right? It was so high. It was through the roof, right? And the reputation's gone down a while. They're just not the hottest thing in MLS anymore. There's a lot of teams that have come in and have taken over that role. The LAFCs, the Miamis. Like, they're the ones that have come in and everyone's like, ooh, these are the guys we're going to talk about, right? These are the guys that we want to get on. Well, Apple TV hides them all now, but I mean, they have them all on the app, but like, you don't have them on, channel, you don't have them on Fox anymore or ESPN, but like, if it was still on there, you'd be seeing LAFC, Miami nonstop on those channels. Yeah. It was Atlanta that was that team.
Yeah.
But before Apple, it was, a little bit before that, but it was Atlanta that was always the nationally televised game, right? They wanted to get that crowd on TV. And you got to build that back up. And, the Galaxy, I think, is a good example of that. I mean, the Galaxy were, darlings for a long time, right? And then they went through a real bad stretch there. I mean, the Galaxy were kind of a joke for a while, right? And then LAFC comes in and they're like, oh, sorry, there's a new LA team here. You're gone. And now the Galaxy are getting better, but they're rebuilding their reputation, their brand. That's what they had to do. And I think that's the same thing with Atlanta United. They've got to start rebuilding their brand to start being put into that conversation again of good teams, because I when I think of top teams in MLS, I just don't think Atlanta United anymore.
Yeah, but kind of going back to Vieira, and definitely I agree with what you're saying, but it's kind of bringing it back to Vieira. I mean, it's culture, right? We talk about the culture of Atlanta United. Is he a cultural fit? I think it's another big question that we need to ask ourselves.
What's the culture?
Well,
what is it?
The culture of, listen, we want to, win trophies. I mean,
that's Vancouver.
Well, but
that's Vancouver. That's Toronto. That's New York, LA, Portland. That's everyone's culture.
You can't just bring anyone in here though and expect them to get on with. I mean, Gabriel Heinze was not a cultural fit. Frank de Boer, to some extent, was not a cultural fit.
Are they a culture fit anywhere, though?
I would argue that. Well, de Boer, I mean, in Europe, but
I'm saying
players have to stage a mutiny to get him to change his tactics. I would argue that the closest to this is going to sound strange to say, but the closest to what this team's culture is, I dare say, was Pineda. I mean, it didn't translate to wins, obviously, but I think the culture aspect is what you have to think about too. And I know the big question is, what is the culture?
Well, what makes you say Pineda?
Well,
because he's behind him and he's renting a room in Sydney's
apartment. No, but just you have a person that knows MLS. He was in the league. Came over from Seattle, which I feel like is kind of the model club in MLS was for years. So that's what we're kind of going with it. But the larger point I'm trying to make is, again, you can't just bring anyone in here. It has to be somebody that fits the ideals of what Garth Lagerwey wants, has to fit the ideals of what Arthur Blank, AMB as a whole is looking for, things like that, which is one of the questions I had was, who are these other finalists? And I heard Josh Wolf being thrown around, which, no disrespect to Josh Wolf. He had Austin FC a win away from the MLS Cup final the other year, but they've just cratered since then, and he's on a very hot seat. Obviously, he's an Atlanta native. That's probably where the connection is. I don't know if that's the fit for Atlanta United. Greg Berhalter, fans will essentially, I feel like, mutiny if he's hired. Gio Savarese.
Lightly.
No, absolutely. Gio Savarese, very significant MLS experience. We've talked about him before on the show. There's names out there. As far as who is the best fit out of those two names and who could fit in the best, I would think you could do a lot worse than Vieira. You can do a lot worse than Savarese. That's just my personal standpoint. Arena is another name, as Philip is saying in the chat. I don't think Arena will be a cultural fit for Atlanta United.
Not even kind of.
My way of, he's my way or the highway guy. But that's what I mean. Cultural fit. Yes, he has winning credentials, but I don't think he would fit the team's culture. Plus, he has whatever happened in New England. We still don't know what happened hanging over him. So that's kind of made him a little bit radioactive among the league. But that's just my vantage point.
Yeah, I see Philip saying, "Give me Bruce Arena." I think Bruce Arena is just so old school, which is not a bad thing. But really, to Sydney's point, the radioactivity. Nobody knows what he said.
Bill Belichick.
That's why he's Bill Belichick's.
Bill Belichick could kill a job tomorrow, though.
Like, wait, say what?
No. So Bill Belichick, I think he could get a job tomorrow if he backed down from what he was looking for. Like, he wanted organizational control, which wasn't going to happen in Atlanta.
Yeah,
but I feel like any other
Bill
place
Belichick,
he could.
He needs Tom Brady.
No, exactly. And again, that goes to show how much success does a team have how much of that is tied to the manager. Now we see, again, like you were saying, once Brady left, the team sucked. The Patriots sucked. You see now they're still bad. Like they don't even have a quarterback. They have Brissett, who is a longtime journeyman NFL quarterback. The aura, the mystique is gone. And it was gone since Brady left New England. So again, that kind of ties into my point. But kind of using the cultural discussion, the Patriots, they had a winning culture from top to bottom, like that do your job mentality. You need somebody like that with Atlanta United who can fit in what Atlanta United are trying to do from a cultural standpoint. And again, I go back to who are the other finalists. We haven't seen that yet. I'm sure the names will surface
we know it's not
later.
Marcelo.
We know it's not Marcelo Gallardo. He's at River.
New man saying what happened to Go Sons on Tuesday.
He's at River.
He went back down to River, got his job there, doing his thing.
Beat Boca the other day.
Yeah.
Boca are down bad significantly. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I feel like we're kind of somewhat not different wavelength, but I feel like we're kind of coming at this different ways. Again, it'll be interesting to see what these other names are.
Patrick Vieira he does fit everything that I think he makes everybody happy in the sense that like Garth is going to want his MLS experience. That's like almost, it seems like a non-negotiable with Garth Lagerwey. Fans want, I think, something a little more exotic. They want European football. They want somebody from overseas. They want, the guy that can say, hey, I've been to ABC League and done it. Whether you were super successful or not, kind of beside the point, because I think people just look at it as, well, you had that experience over there, and that over there is always better than what's here, which is not always true.
It's Vieira.
But he's got both. He checks both the boxes, right? That being said, I've seen people just dog. Excuse me. See, I can't even talk. Choking over it. I've seen people dog him like with his records and his like the way that like Crystal Palace, his exit from there. Strasbourg was kind of a weird situation. I mean,
Nice too.
Yeah, I mean, they were all kind of odd situations. He wasn't. It was poor, right? It wasn't just bad soccer. It just never was enough to get over the line. And right now, that's a step up for Atlanta, if I'm being honest. And I do think with the teams that he was given over there, playing the competitions that they had over there, if he could bring something similar to that here to MLS, then I think you're going to see a much improved performance, all things considered. So he does check a lot of the boxes, though, which is good. It's what you kind of want to appease fans. It still fits your DNA that you're trying to kind of develop. But also, and I think I just kind of speak for the fans, going back to the original question about me not being convinced. It's again, I don't know. I can't tell you a name that would convince me.
Yeah,
Pochettino was the closest realistic name. Gallardo was another very realistic name, but obviously those two ships have sailed, and here we are. So if it's Patrick Vieira, dude, full support for the guy, and I think you're gonna do okay as long as you have a seat at the table in bringing in some of the guys that you need to bring in to make your style successful.
And just throwing this out there real quick, I know we're trying to.
I want to talk.
Real quick. You mentioned getting over the line. That's something he was never able to really do with NYCFC. So I think that's another point that I wanted to throw out there. But sorry, Tommy. I just wanted
Tata win. Didn't Tata have a bad history of winning the big one before Atlanta United? Am I wrong on that?
I think it was.
I remember them talking about.
I think it was his first final he'd ever won in his career.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
What is a finalist like? If you're a finalist, and I understand it's weird that this whole how this all happened and Tom does it, but you're a finalist, but we got to go find a couple more finalists because we haven't really heard any other names, right? So who? and I'm glad that they are probably doing everything in the background, right? I think that what you want is a team to do everything that you don't know about. I know fans want they want to know what the franchise is doing, right? Who they're interviewing, right? This isn't the NFL though, because in the NFL you always know who's talking to who, right? You know that they're interviewing this, you know this person's on this boat, right? They're on Arthur's boat talking to him. MLS is a little bit different here. But do they just say to him like, all right, we're still looking, but you've made the next round. And they hand him the flower, and now he holds on to that flower until two more people with flowers have him, and then they meet together, and then they go into an island, and they try. The last one to survive gets the job. I was watching the Hunger Games the other day. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, man, like we're going real deep into the Hunger Games.
I thought you were talking about the Bachelorette for some reason.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was the Hunger Games and Love Island combined into one. I'm just curious, like, how if that's how this is going, like, do they have another finalist? That's why I tweeted out to Jameson, like, we need more finalist names, because I mean, that's what's fun. And I know the wolf thing just came up, and who knows if that's actually legit or it's just attached because there's a wolf child on this team.
Well, it's more than that, though.
He's from Atlanta.
Yeah, I know, but
and his brother also works here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of ties.
I like rumors, though.
Happening.
I love rumors. I like this. I think a lot of the fan base, and at least from what I saw yesterday, I have a ton of time to look over it. Most of them seem pretty happy about this. There's a small portion that are not, and there's still that portion that say, you need the big name. You need the big one, right? You got to go sign the big fancy manager. And I think a lot of people just realize, like, that's not really, they don't need the big fancy manager. They just need to find the right guy. And I've said this before, is the thought, I think, with Pineda was that he'd be here long term, right? It wasn't a 1 or 2 year plan. And that just seems like, and I talked about this before, but I mean, Heinze was a temporary, he was only going to be here for a year or two if he gave players water. Right, because he was an up-and-coming manager. Mm-hmm. He was going to come in, make a name for himself. Year 0 was, year 1 was, getting the team together. Year 2 was success, right? Was to win it. Didn't even make it to then. But even when all those problems, there were even rumors that teams were looking at him to possibly bring him on at some point. I remember 1 or 2 rumors about Heinze, like teams were already interested in him while he was still with Atlanta United. They want someone here long. Like, I just don't want to have a 1-2 year thing. And I feel like that's what the old regime, they wanted to bring in a guy, have a year or 2 with them, and then push him on forward. This one, I think, they want to do what they did with Pineda. What the hope was with Pineda is that you just get a guy here that's for 5 years, 5-6 years, and a couple championships.
I'll throw out one more name for you. And
what you got?
This is just hypothetical. I'm not condoning or endorsing this name. I'm just asking for opinions. But what about Matias Almeida?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think his lack of success
got the MLS experience. He's coming up on the end of his contract in Greece.
I don't know if the lack of success that he had with San Jose, I don't know if he'd be a prime candidate for the position. But, to go back to, fans wanting big names, again, bigger isn't always better. Like Wilfred Nancy was not a big name when he was
I read that on a bathroom wall. Bigger is not always better.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Tommy.
They were obviously talking about the manager of Atlanta United.
Yes, that's exactly.
But he did well at other clubs besides San Jose. And who does well at San Jose?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I get it, but I just don't know if he'd be maybe the leading candidate in this regard. I mean, who knows? He could get a job at MLS. I don't know if it'll be Atlanta. So I guess that's just my 2 cents on it.
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I'd need some convincing if it were for Almeida, to be honest with you.
One more thing.
Yes.
Because the Batter and Herons put it on there. If Danny's still in here, I'm sure he's going to respond back. It seems that most Miami fans despise Tata Martino. Like, I go in their comments, I go everywhere, and man, they just trash talk Tata. They don't want him here.
Why?
But think about it. You have such high expectations. If they bomb out of these playoffs, right? I don't think they're going to bomb out of the first round, right? Winning a best of 3, unless Philly comes roaring in or Atlanta with their magic against Miami come in and knock them out. And they get knocked out.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you have expectations like that, such high. I mean, you have the best player in the world, right? You have one of the best players in the world, and you have the best MLS roster, easy out there. And if you bomb out in the second round, or even in the conference finals, who knows? Who knows what happens? And then if he becomes available, I mean, one of the things that he said is that he didn't like all the travel of MLS. Well, look, he's back, right? He's back here.
His wife hated it.
Would you? I think I know everyone's answer. Would you? But like realistically, like if they fired him, and you wouldn't know. And the other problem with this whole situation is that you wouldn't know until way later in the cycle, right? Because the playoffs are happening. The playoffs probably aren't happening for us, or we're out of it by then, right? So now you got to wait until late November to see what they end up doing with him. I don't think it's realistic, but I saw them put that in there. But I mean, I do think there's an opportunity where he does, or there is a chance that he gets fired if they don't do well in the playoffs here.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see it personally, but you have to feel like they understand the window of opportunity. Yeah, you have to feel like they know the window of opportunity, though, isn't open forever, especially with Messi and Suarez getting up there in age. But I don't know. That's just. I think he's back next year regardless. I think fans will be upset in Miami if they crash out of the playoff for some reason. But I think he is back in 2025.
Tata doesn't succeed with anything close to what this team is right now anyway.
No, and I just brought it up because the Herons brought it up there. Yeah. It's just weird that I mean their fans really do not like Tata at all.
Which that's very my point of contention is that team has been winning without Messi and Suarez to a degree and Busquets to a degree, whatever. That's because of Tata. That's because of him having the seat at the table to go and say, all right, I want this U22, I want that U22, I want this player, which is the same thing he did when he came to Atlanta. He had that man can build a roster. Now, he may not be able to lead the team to a final and win it all the time unless you're 2018 Atlanta United, but he can build a roster, and he needs to get a technical director job somewhere at a team that needs a technical director.
San Jose. No, I think they have a technical director actually. So we'll be on the lookout, obviously, for more names that come out as potential Atlanta United head coaching candidates. Do you have one more point to make? You're muted, by the way.
I know. I was just more names. I need more names.
Okay. But I'm sure. Yeah. Again, I'm sure more names will come out. Real quick, our friends at Soccer Down Here are up for an award coming up. It's the I got to get the name of it.
The Football Content Awards.
Football Content Awards. Yes. So yeah, maybe go to the website footballcontentawards.com. You'll see the link there. But Soccer Down Here, of course, good friends of the site. We aren't part of
their Wednesday show. Let me make my joke. I hate their Wednesday guest. Their Wednesday guest is terrible.
He's freaking awful. I'm an idiot. Have you heard some of the takes? Have you heard?
Right, now my joke's over. So
yeah,
continue.
No, but go to footballcontentawards.com. I obviously appreciate the work that John, Jarrett, Jason, Maddie, the whole crew over there. I'm missing some names, Nick, but appreciate the work they do in really elevating not just coverage of Atlanta United, but soccer all across the South, college, high school. I mean, I don't know of any other market. Of course, my limited knowledge of the media landscape anyway in the United States, I would probably say you can count on one hand the number of markets, major markets in the United States that have anyone quite like what Soccer Down Here does as far as elevating the sport of soccer at pretty much every single level. And I do have to, sidebar to say, 1990 the game here in Atlanta, Mike Conti does a tremendous job of championing the sport on all of his shows, and that's rare to find in a major market, in the top 10 market like Atlanta. But Soccer Down Here does tremendous work. So maybe go to footballcontentawards.com, vote for them. I think you can vote as many.
Link in the chat.
I think you can vote as many. Yeah, I may vote as many times as you want. And there are some names up there: BBC, CBS Sports Galazzo, The Zone UK, ESPN UK, TNT Sport in the UK, ITV, Prime Video, Sky Sports, Talk Sport in the UK. Yeah, so some giants of broadcasting, and to see Soccer Down Here is pretty cool among those. So shout out to them. Definitely vote. footballcontentawards.com.
Yeah, go vote, because if they make it to the, I guess, I don't know how it is, like the top 3 or top something. I think regardless, now they are invited to go to the actual award ceremony, which is actually at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, Tottenham Hotspur,
really cool. Nice. Yeah, so of course, paying to get there's a different story, but just the fact that they got picked out of all of these outlets for this is it's just a statement to them and the market that is Atlanta and soccer in general here. And they're doing a great job just talking about soccer from every level. It's awesome. So yeah, good stuff, man. I'm super excited for them.
So yeah, footballcontentawards.com. Give them some love. Atlanta United at the Philadelphia Union on Saturday. I am not optimistic about this match at all, guys. Of course, Atlanta could play their best match of the season because it's a Union team that's better than them right now, but they've won 5 of their last 7. We had a chance to talk to Tyler, you and I, Ross Smith, who'll be calling the match with MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, and had a chance to chat with him. We'll have it on YouTube, the full interview, but I do want to just maybe play this clip. And Tyler and I, we asked him just his insight on the Union, what he thought of the Union, where they are right now. And he talked about, they're kind of key players at attack. Andre Blake, certainly, but Gazdag, Baribo, Ua, tremendous players for them. So here's that clip from our interview with Rod Smith from MLS Season Pass.
You look at the teams fighting for the playoff spaces. They're the best team fighting for that playoff spot right now. What Jim Curtin has done, and it started 2 games before Leagues Cup, where they got Andre Blake back, and I've never heard before how much, when you talk about MVPs, Andre Blake's the MVP of Philadelphia Union, how much a goalkeeper can mean to a team's success. And this is the intangibles. This is what the guy brings in the locker room, his leadership, on top of what a great goalkeeper is. But since he's come back, his record, I don't have it right in front of me, has been outstanding. But that is just then, it's bled through the rest of the team with the confidence and the goals that they're scoring now. So they've been on a good run. They look like Philadelphia of old that we've always kind of known under Jim Curtin and punching above their weight. And then the 3-headed monster, when I go back to it, they've got Daniel Gazdag, who's competing for the Golden Boots. I think he's on 17 now. You've got Ty Baribo, who is the most informed striker in the league since the summertime, since Julian Carranza. When they transferred him, they sold him, they wondered what they're going to do. And Baribo's come in, and his goal-scoring tally, I think I'm going to be slightly off here, but it's almost 15 goals in 16 games in all competitions, or 16 goals in 17. It's incredible. And then you have Uwa up front, who can run in behind. He's on form as well. So you have all of that. They've got strength in the midfield. They've replaced Jose Martinez. And right now it seems to be a player, Flock, who's been holding it down in the center of the park, but they've brought in another holding midfielder, Danley, who will be that replacement of Martinez. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, with players moving on in transfer window, they've had somebody step in and fill that role, and everybody's catching form at the exact same time. That's what Atlanta United, unfortunately, they're up against a team who's desperate like they are, but they're a team who's going in with the most confidence right now, fighting for those playoff spots.
It's absolutely right. And like I said, they've won 5 of the last 7. You have Gazdag, 17 goals, 3 of those last 2. Baribo has just been on a heater this season. 16 goals and 2 assists in 22 matches across all competitions this season. Uwa, who we haven't mentioned, Andre Blake, of course, sort of their leader. Bedoya, the intangibles he brings to the table. Like I said, I'm not I'm not optimistic about this match, but I guess what are you guys' kind of first initial impressions about the Philadelphia Union and what Atlanta United's chances are on Saturday?
We'll start with Atlanta United because I went back and watched our show. There was a comment made in our chat, and I appreciate the comment there on our last YouTube thing. But like I went back and like watched a little bit. We didn't get to talk too much about the game. But I got to say, I mean, there's things that Atlanta United are still doing right. Like I really liked Tiare in that game. I mean, he creates the penalty, right, by having the pace, which I think. Do you start Tiare or do you start Rios? Because this is like the game, right? Like this is the game of the. You could talk about the other games, obviously, but the next Super Bowl that you have, I guess, of this year, the next Cup final or whatever you want to call it, is you got to win this one to create the next one, right? And then it creates another one, but you got to win this one to do that. So in a must-win game, I think you I don't know. I don't know. With Philly, it's just interesting, and I don't know who you start there. Maybe you do start with Rios and have Tiare come out. But I liked what Tiare did in the last game for sure. And Miranchuk's, he's not flashy, right? Like I don't think it's anything what he's doing is overall flashy. It's smart, right? I think that he's pretty smart, and getting more talent around him will help. But I like what they're creating. Like I like that they're. I don't know. They have to win here, and if they're bringing it all out, I mean, that's the only question I have really about this game. Everything else is kind of set in place, right? I mean, with some injuries here and there, I mean, really the only option, well, I guess your other option there is do you start Mascara? That's a big one, and I don't think they do. I think he comes in as a sub, but like I mean, those are the two questions, right? Who are you going to start on the left? Who are you going to start up front? Those are the two biggest questions in this game. And that's a hard decision for Rob, right? I don't know. I mean, Omar puts here, you start Rios and Tiare.
You may not have much of a choice when it comes to Mascara, depending on how Silva's injury turns out. I mean, that's just what I see it as. But again, you don't want to start him, off of. I mean, it's a terrific goal. Give him credit, but. No, maybe he gets rewarded with a start against Philadelphia. There's a lot of technical things that we'll have to look at. What direction does Rob go in? It's a big question.
I think
he put out back five. Does he do that again?
That was my big question. Is are you going to go with the back five, or are you going to go for a more attacking oriented setup? You can't get pinned down, and in Philly, you run that risk. Just like what happened with the Red Bulls, especially in the first half. You can't go and allow them to play their game. And I know that's like such a cliche, but it's true. You can't go into this game and have anything less than 3 points on your mind. Again, cliche. A draw is not good enough in this match. And it's like you said, Tommy, like the playoffs start right now. The playoffs, you have to win all your games, right? And all the way through MLS Cup to win the cup. Doesn't matter what you did prior to the playoffs. Well, Atlanta is in a position now where they have to basically win out to get into the playoffs and then win out to do anything in the playoffs. And yeah, I know math, things can go either way, whatever. But you haven't done any favors to yourself with the way the Miami match ended, especially not with the way the Red Bulls match ended. That should have been 3 points. You're running out of time. Like that line is very, very thin at this point. So you have to go out with a mindset of whatever we decide to do in the attack, it has to be effective and it has to be fast and it has to be clinical, or you're not going to come out of this with a result. I don't even think you come out of it with a point. Because the way Philly's playing right now, 9 goals in 2 games, I know that's unsustainable, but they have the momentum. They have all the momentum going for them at this point. So it's not going to be easy. You got to take your game to them and throw them off completely from the opening whistle and be cleaner on the ball. That was one of the biggest problems with the Red Bulls. You just had wayward passes. You had, just kind of individual fundamental mistakes that just were costing you momentum and breaking up attacks. It never allowed you to get going. So just you can't come out with anything less than 110% in this one.
Scary.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
It's time for guys to prove they want to be here next year. And we've been saying this every week since the season, started back up. But it's true. I mean, you have to. And there was some fight in them last time they went to Philadelphia. Didn't start great, but they definitely fought back, got themselves an opportunity, and they just ran out of time. Do they learn from that lesson? There's still a lot of players that were on this team then, but we've been asking that question for a while.
For weeks.
When are they gonna learn their lessons here and stop doing the same silly things that they do? I don't know. MLS is just weird in general. It can happen. They can obviously do it, but they're going to have to be consistent. The part that I'm scared of is exactly how the Philadelphia game started last time, and really how the Red Bulls game started. If it wasn't for Brad Guzan, we'd be in a Philadelphia away game from last season where you're down 3-0, extremely early on. I mean, you were very lucky to be in that game that early still because you had some key misses and offsides and some saves that kept you in that game, and it gave you the ability to really grow into it and be able to have opportunities and, almost win it. They're going to have to do that. And Philly's going to, Philly, Miami is going to be watching this game. I mean, Miami's got to be, they got to be scared a little bit. I know, like, that's probably being dramatic here when you're, but, and they still obviously, Philly would have to win the playing game, but
yeah,
that hot of a team going in to having to go play a best of 3 in October, and then you might have to go into real bad weather into Philadelphia in October. That's a real interesting situation that Miami, I think, does not want to be in at all. Right? I think when you think of who's going to be the 8th seed in MLS, you think of a real crappy team. Like, you think, all right, this is easy, right? It's going to be a clean sweep. If they end up getting Philadelphia, I think that's Miami's biggest nightmare.
Or Atlanta.
And 2, well, that's what I was going to say. And 2 is Atlanta.
Right, yeah.
And it's just because of that situation. Yeah. We talked about it, I think, on Monday, we talked on with Chris. Like, there's just those teams that randomly have another team's number. And lately, it's been Atlanta over Miami. Now, granted, we didn't get a win in that last game, but it was pretty scary for them. I mean, Tata was probably throwing things in the suite up there, seeing what was happening to his team at his old stadium. But Miami's they've got to be fearing Philadelphia at this point. It's like the one team they don't want to get in at all. Man, if Atlanta doesn't get in to play that game, I really want to see Philly and Miami play.
And the bad news for Atlanta is, even though if they win, if they beat Philadelphia on Saturday, they can't pass Philadelphia. They'll be level on points, level with wins, which is the first tiebreaker. But right now, the goal differential is 10 to -4 in favor of Philadelphia. So
those 9 goals in the past 2 matches have killed.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But Philly has a terrible schedule too. That's the big thing. Like, Philly's schedule after Atlanta sucks. So it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, they're not in the playoffs yet. So.
But then it comes back to Atlanta, right? Like, you have to. I'm tired of the cliches, but you have to go into this and play your game. You have to go into it and make your own luck. You can't rely on, VAR giving you a lucky break or Brad Guzan standing on his head left and right to keep you in the game. You have to take your game to, especially a team like Philly, the dark arts are coming, like Voldemort level dark arts. You know it. You know, the crap talking is going to be happening. I want to see personality. That's really what I want to see. I want to see personality on the field, and I want to see personality just in the little individual battles. I want to see, Caleb Wiley kind of turn and point to the scoreboard kind of thing again. I want to see some a-hole out of some people. That's the kind of stuff that I think this team just needs to kind of bite onto and hold on to. And it just hasn't been there enough. And that's an overarching problem, but it's something that just in the season showing some passion. And you've done that in the 2 games since Nashville, to be fair. You just haven't got the results that you wanted out of them, but it has been better.
I will say, with Jose Martinez gone, I don't know how much dark arts you'll see, but
Jim Curtin is still telling them to flop left and right like a bunch of fish, man. Jose is a big deal. They flopping left and right.
What are you guys' predictions for Saturday?
Flops. Taking the over on flops.
How many flops per game? No.
At one point, there's going to be somebody that might be dead on the field.
I hope not.
Fake dead.
Fake dead. They'll look dead.
Fake dead. Okay. Yeah. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But no, what are you guys' predictions? Scoreline predictions for Saturday? How are you guys feeling? Is this going to be another match where Atlanta United plays to the level of their competition, plays up to the competition? I don't think so. I think Philly is just on too good a run of form right now. I said that about Miami. I think Philly are just on too good a run of form right now. I think they win 3-1. I think they continue this run. And unfortunately, I think for Atlanta, that'll probably be the death knell for their playoff hopes. Not all the way. They won't be eliminated with a loss, but they'll be pretty darn close depending on what other results come out of Saturday night. I don't know if they'll win, to be honest with you. Maybe they kind of captured some of the magic that they had against Miami and Red Bulls. They were fortunate to get a point against Miami. It's a bitter point against Red Bulls. It's a match that you certainly should have won for sure. So hopefully you get some of that. Hopefully they are up to the task because Tyler, like he said, they showed some signs of life. They had every opportunity to pack it in, but at least they've shown some semblance of resilience over these past couple of matches. So I will say the 3-1 to the Philadelphia Union just to continue on this terrific run of form that they're on.
I didn't come prepared with an answer. Didn't do my homework. Because see, I just want to go the opposite of Sydney. I'm still mad at him for his Falcons tweet on Sunday.
3-1 Atlanta then?
No. I'm gonna say 2-1 Atlanta.
Oh, you think they get a slip out with a win?
MLS is freaky. Let's get freaky.
It's true.
I don't think it's going to be... I think it's going to be close, for sure. If it's a blowout, I mean, just send everyone home. Send everyone home for the school year early. Just let them turn in their books and call it a year.
Yeah.
But they have to. This is the game, right? And we've said that, right? Nashville was the game because it was the worst team in the league. You got to win this, or worst team in the spork holders. You lose to the spork holders. You got to be able to do something here, and I think some of these guys know what's on the line for them and the future of them on this team. I think they're going to come out hard. I think that there's going to be players that are going to remind everyone what this team is and all of the shit they put this team through, right? Like you talk about the dark arcs and all of that, all the physicality that's been in this series. Like you said, the shit talking, like all of that has happened here. And there's guys like Brooks and Brad that have been here for many of those battles. They've been here for Curtin's talks. They've been there for the Curtin shit talking, all of that. They're going to remind them of that. And, I don't really know if Atlanta really has a rival here, right? Because I don't know like who the rival is for Atlanta United. Like it's weird to say because like back then I used to, like always think it was just the Red Bulls because it was just those games were so physical and just chippy. But like because I never really like Orlando. I mean for such a long time. But if there's one there, I think it's Philadelphia. It's just because, and maybe it's just because I hate every single Philadelphia sports team. I hate every Philadelphia sports fan, pretty much. Like I can't handle any of them. I'm friends with an Eagles fan. I just can't handle him. When he watches it, he's insane, and I'm sure the Union fans are too. Atlanta wins 2-1.
2-1.
We go to Wednesday where I'm in town and we beat Joseph Martinez in Montreal on the Poutine Bowl. We win.
Okay.
That was a lot. Sorry.
I like it. I don't even know, man. Like my heart says one thing and my mind says another, and I'm struggling.
But my body, what your body say? Sorry,
my body doesn't say anything. Atlanta hasn't won in Pennsylvania since 2018. Just gonna throw that out there.
We're due.
We're also due to win in New Jersey, but that didn't quite come to fruition. So close.
Holding that for a better year, a better season to be able to talk about that.
I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw.
Another draw.
Draw. I know it. I don't want to be. I really don't want to be that way. And before anybody gets to like, everybody's so pessimistic. I mean, it's not that. Like, I think we give a pretty rounded explanation of the different, things about the team, the different viewpoints, different mindsets, and I think we can toot our own horn a little bit with that. But you just got to look at kind of the way the team has been playing. It's not going to be easy. Just like for a lot of reasons. And it's going to end up being 1-1. I think it's going to be Philly scores first. And I think Atlanta comes back and pulls the draw within the final 10 minutes.
So you guys know where we're doing on Saturday, though?
I do.
Tommy? What are we doing Saturday?
Tell us.
Probably the most fun thing that we do on Patreon, in my opinion. We haven't done one in a little bit, but we're going to do a watch along. If you've never done the watch along, we hop on, we send a link out to all of our members on Patreon. You come join us. We're going to be watching the game. So we have usually a good group of people come in. We talk. Tyler does shots. Tyler will convince us to do bad things. We talk about the game. We either celebrate together or we cry together, whichever one that you want to say. We're running out of games to do that. But I think this is our second last one of the year. Depending if we do a playing game, we got to do one for the playing game.
Yeah.
But I think this is our second last one, and then maybe I think decision day might be the last one. But yeah, come join us. It's a lot of fun. It's my favorite thing that we do on here. You don't have to hop on video if you don't want. We have people that don't hop on video. You just want to talk. If you just want to if you want to be on video, sure, we will be. Still, my favorite watch along was that Chicago game where I had to shave my beard. And
that was enlightening.
Well, and then Tina came down. She's like, "You don't have to shave your beard." No, Atlanta didn't win. A draw? Yeah, that was. Watching that in real time was great. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So join us. Sydney, you're the good salesperson here. How do they join Patreon?
Go to patreon.com/scarves and spikes. That's how you do it. Patreon.com/scarves and spikes.
See, listen to the guy. That's why I have him do it. He sells it way better than me.
It's fun. It really is fun, guys. And that's not the only thing, right? Like Discord. We have a Discord. We have a variety of channels in the Discord talking about obviously soccer and a variety of other stuff.
Stupid SEC channel.
That one, which has become the bane of some people's existence.
SEC and everyone else, not just SEC.
Yeah. But you also get discounts on the merch on the top. Beer glass, pretty useful, especially for the watch along. But yeah, you'll go give it a shout. Come join us.
I think that's it, by the way. I think we're good.
Oh, and the video tomorrow with Ross will be released. Patreon tonight, YouTube tomorrow.
Yes, check out the video with Ross Smith, the interview that we did with him, Tyler and I talking about Saturday's match. So just be able to look out for that. And it was a really good conversation. Go to YouTube, check it out. If you are a patron, check it out there as well. But I think that's it.
Oh, and
Yeah,
MLS
you guys
Monday.
what?
MLS Monday. Yes, check us out on Monday as we talk about MLS.
You guys might be doing it on a boat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, for real.
No kidding. But yeah, be safe. If you're in the path of Hurricane Helene, be vigilant, be prepared. Don't be stupid. Yes.
Don't make cool videos and like those people that make the videos where like they blow away.
Exactly. Don't do
or
that.
Get hit by like a cat that's flying by.
An American flag and look like a rock star while you're out there.
Exactly. Exactly.
No.
Be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks as always, everyone. We'll be back on Saturday for our pre-match show, 6:30. Watch along for patrons. Patreon.com/scarves and spikes to get in on that. Afterwards, 3 takeaways. And again, our interview with Ross Smith on YouTube and Patreon. Thanks as always. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I'm trying to do everything with creepy voices now that it's Halloween season. It's like I've just been doing jump scares and playing like the Friday the 13th music, like even when I'm just walking down the hallway.
What's your favorite horror movie?
It's what's your favorite scary movie? If you're even gonna say the line, like you got to say it right. What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh,
do you know that's from Scream? Do you know? Have you seen Scream?
A very long time ago.
I have not seen Scream.
I'm not a scary movie aficionado.
Me neither.
Nightmare on Elm Street was my favorite, but then in that movie, spoiler alert, I mean I know it came out in the 80s. I had a waterbed, so this is how old this story was. And in the movie, one of the characters die because there is a naked woman in the waterbed, and then it turns out to be Freddy. First step for a child watching that movie, you think, "Oh, cool!
Why
that could be in my waterbed?" And then next thing you know, you're dead. So every time I went into my bed, I had to make the sign of the cross after I saw that movie. It didn't protect me.
No. You survived, so
I'm still here.
Yeah, you made it.
Poor Johnny Depp.
Okay, bye.
He was in the movie.
Was he really?
Yeah. No, I know.
I didn't know that.
Are you being sarcastic? I can't figure out what you're doing.
I genuinely didn't know.
Jack Sparrow.
Oh yeah, Johnny Depp was in it. We should do a horror movie watch along with you two and see how you guys react to movies.
No thanks.
Ooh, Scarves and Spikes go to a haunted house. Do you guys have haunted houses open next week?
Yes, we have a really big one here, actually.
Ooh. All right.
Patreon $50 tier.
See you guys.
Dude, somebody come up.
Are we doing this after show thing?
Oh,
I don't know. Sorry. We're just talking. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Our longest